The average American grocery store carries more than 100 different drink brands, and almost none of them are actually competing, because behind the colorful labels, the clever names, and the wall of endless choice, nearly every bottle traces back to just two corporate headquarters. One sits in Atlanta, Georgia, the other sits in Purchase, New York. Coca-Cola and PepsiCo together control roughly 70% of the soft drinks Americans swallow every single day. And this video is not really about soda. It is about the most successful magic trick in American retail: the illusion of choice, and the quiet shelf deals that decide what 300 million people drink before they ever walk through the sliding doors. Start with a simple experiment that anyone can run on their next grocery trip. Walk down the beverage aisle and count the brands that feel like independent little companies. There is Honest Tea, which sounds like it was brewed by a farmer in a barn somewhere in Vermont. There is Topo Chico, the trendy Mexican mineral water that hipsters in Austin swear was their personal discovery. There is Simply Orange with its humble glass carafe, and Smart Water, and Fairlife, and Body Armor, and Minute Maid, and Sprite, and Fanta, and Powerade. Every single one of those brands is owned by the Coca-Cola Company. But surely the other side of the aisle offers an escape, so keep walking. There is Gatorade, the drink of every American high school locker room since the 1960s. There is Tropicana's legacy, and Bubbly, the playful sparkling water with the cheerful cans, and Mountain Dew, and Aquafina, and Naked Juice, and Muscle Milk, and Rockstar Energy. Every single one of those belongs to PepsiCo. Therefore, the shopper who spent 5 minutes carefully comparing options never actually made a choice at all. They just picked which of two giants would receive their $4. The aisle was a ballot with two names on it, printed to look like 100. Now here is the question that actually matters, the one this whole story hinges on. How did two companies end up owning the drinking habits of an entire nation, and why does nobody ever seem to break in? The answer starts more than a century ago, but the important part is what happened when Americans stopped drinking soda, because that is the twist most people miss completely. For decades, the cola wars were a straightforward slugfest. Coke versus Pepsi, red versus blue, Santa Claus versus Michael Jackson. But starting in the late 1990s, something terrifying happened to both empires at the same time. Americans began turning away from sugary, carbonated soda year after year in a slow national health awakening. Soda consumption entered a decline that is never fully reversed, and the two giants watched their core product slowly shrink. By all the normal rules of business, this should have been the opening, the moment scrappy upstarts stormed the castle. Instead, the two giants did something far smarter than defending soda. They simply bought whatever Americans were switching to. Drinking bottled water instead of Coke? Coca-Cola owns Dasani and Smart Water, so the empire gets paid. Switching to sports drinks? PepsiCo bought Gatorade in 2001, and Coca-Cola later spent billions acquiring Body Armor just to answer it. Trying fancy juice, trendy tea, coconut water, protein shakes, energy drinks? There is an acquisition for every escape route, a subsidiary waiting at the end of every healthy intention. Therefore, quitting soda in America usually just means paying the soda companies through a different label. The rebellion was purchased before it could grow, again and again for 25 straight years. The Coca-Cola Company alone now owns a portfolio of around 200 brands across 200 countries. But owning the brands is only half the machine. The other half is the part shoppers never see, and it is the reason a genuinely independent drink almost never makes it to eye level. It is time to talk about how a bottle actually gets onto an American shelf. Most people assume the grocery store works like a meritocracy. Good products earn shelf space, bad products lose it, and the customer decides everything with their wallet. That assumption is adorably wrong. In reality, shelf space in an American supermarket is some of the most expensive real estate on planet Earth, and it is sold, not earned. The industry has a name for the price of admission: and the name is slotting fees. A slotting fee is a payment a brand makes to a retailer just for the privilege of appearing on the shelf at all. Not for advertising, not for a discount, simply for existing in the building. For a new drink brand trying to launch nationally, these entry payments can add up to millions of dollars before a single bottle is ever sold. But the entry fee is only the beginning of the toll road. There are pay-to-stay fees charged just to keep a product from being removed. There are facing allowances, paid to get a better position or a wider spread on the shelf. And then there is the crown jewel of grocery real estate, the end cap. That big display at the end of every aisle. A former Whole Foods executive revealed that end cap displays could cost brands anywhere from $10,000 to $100,000 per month per placement. Now pause and think about what that pricing structure actually does to competition. A small independent beverage founder might have a better drink, a healthier formula, and a story customers would love. But Coca-Cola and PepsiCo have something the founder will never have, which is functionally unlimited money for shelf real estate. Therefore, the two giants can simply outbid every challenger for every good position in every store in America. The little brand gets the bottom shelf near the floor, if it gets in at all. The giants get eye level, the end caps, the coolers by the checkout, and the display by the front door. Retail experts even have a saying about this vertical hierarchy, and it is brutally honest. Eye level is buy level, and it gets deeper than money, because the giants also hold a quieter kind of power. In the grocery industry, there is a practice called the category captain. The retailer picks one dominant supplier and asks them to help plan the layout of the entire category, deciding what goes where. Guess which companies routinely get to be the captain of the beverage aisle? The dominant players effectively help design the very battlefield their competitors have to fight on. Researchers at Yale documented how these arrangements, combined with promotional payments, can guarantee dominant brands a massive share of shelf space while shutting rivals out. It is like letting one team draw the lines on the field, schedule the games, and hire the referees. But the shelf is not even where the lockout ends, because the duopoly's real fortress sits outside the grocery store entirely. Think about everywhere else Americans drink. The movie theater, the stadium, the college campus, the fast food counter, the office vending machine. Almost every one of those places is covered by an exclusive pouring rights contract. McDonald's has served Coca-Cola exclusively since 1955, a partnership so old it predates the interstate highway system. Taco Bell and KFC pour Pepsi products because PepsiCo actually owned those chains for years before spinning them off. Universities sign multi-million-dollar deals granting one company the exclusive right to every fountain, vending machine, and campus store. Even entire city governments have signed deals making one brand the only beverage sold at municipal events and in public vending machines. Therefore, an American can leave home in the morning, and no matter where the day takes them, the menu was decided years ago in a conference room they will never see. The choice between Coke and Pepsi at a restaurant is not a choice the customer makes. It is a contract the customer walks into. Now, a fair-minded viewer might ask an obvious question right about here. If two companies really control everything, how did Dr. Pepper survive? And what about all those new brands going viral online? It is a great question, and the answer actually proves the point. Keurig Dr. Pepper is the third player, and together with the big two, the three companies have controlled over 90% of the American soft drink market. A duopoly with a junior partner is not exactly a thriving open market. And those viral independent brands, the ones that explode on social media and actually break through the wall, watch what happens to almost every single one of them. Vitamin Water built a following, and Coca-Cola bought it for over $4 billion. Topo Chico built a cult, and Coca-Cola bought it. Rockstar built an energy empire, and PepsiCo bought it for close to $4 billion. Body Armor grew into a real Gatorade threat, and Coca-Cola wrote a check for roughly $5.6 billion, the largest brand acquisition in its history. The pattern is so reliable it might as well be a law of physics. In the American beverage industry, a successful independent brand is not a competitor. It is inventory that has not been purchased yet. So what does all of this actually cost the average American, beyond the philosophical sting of fake choice? 3 things, and they are worth remembering on the next grocery run. Number 1, higher prices. When 2 players control an aisle, and every challenger faces a multi-million-dollar toll just to enter, cheaper. There is very little pressure to compete on price. Economists have warned for decades that slotting fees can raise consumer prices while crushing small manufacturers who cannot pay to play. Number 2, less innovation. The drink that might have changed everything. The healthier formula from some garage founder in Ohio may never reach a shelf where anyone could find it. America does not get the best beverages. America gets the best funded ones. Number 3, and this one is subtle. The illusion itself has a cost. When people believe they are choosing freely, they stop asking questions. The Duopoly spends billions every year on marketing designed to make two companies feel like a universe of options. And it works beautifully, because most shoppers will live their entire lives without ever realizing the aisle was rigged. But here is the empowering part. Because this story does not have to end in a shrug. The shopper who knows the game can actually play it differently. Flip the bottle over and read who owns it, because the parent company is always hiding in the fine print on the label. Look at the bottom shelf and the top shelf, the unpaid real estate, because that is where the true independents are usually exiled. Support regional brands, local roasters, small bottlers, the companies that have not taken the buyout check yet. And understand that every dollar spent in that aisle is a vote, cast in an election most people never knew was happening. Because here is the final thought, the one worth carrying out of this video and into the store. The beverage aisle is 50 feet long, stocked floor to ceiling, glowing with 100 different labels in every color imaginable. It looks like the freest market in America. It is actually two companies, holding 100 masks, asking which face you would like to buy from today. So the next time that cooler door swings open, remember what is really on the other side of the glass. Not 100 choices, just 2.